Welcome to episode 10 of the Bumovation podcast. My name is Noluthando, also known as the advocate of self-love. And as per usual, I'm confident that after this episode, you're going to be inspired to have the courage to relook at yourself, reshape yourself, repaint yourself, redo yourself, whichever way that you can, whichever way that you want to, because as human beings, we are not meant to be the same throughout. We are meant to reinvent, elevate, change. And my guest today, Samukele Vilakazi, is going to be sharing you call it ploughing, right?
Yeah.
Ploughing yourself. Welcome to the Bumovation podcast, Samu.
Thank you, Tanda. Thank you for having me.
And I know that you're shy. You're facing a fear today, right?
I am. Literally.
I love that. I love that. Please introduce yourself the way that you know yourself to be.
Okay, my name is Samukele Vilakazi, born and bred in Soweto, Meadowlands. Humble soul, grew up with both my mom and dad. Humble beginnings.
Yes.
As I said to you, this phase of my life is called ploughing, and I felt it would be important for me to come on the show.
Yes.
And to share how I got to this space and place in my life, which is quite exciting, scary, but it's going to be exciting on the other side.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you although you don't know everything, but you feel that it will be exciting on the other side.
Yeah, I can't walk in fear. That's the honesty. I just need to take every punch I get each and every day.
Yes.
As it is. I mean, it's exciting. And to tell you the truth, I've never been used to fending for myself. You know, experiencing failures, losses. I'm taking the L's.
Yeah.
With a smile, with so much courage, with so much grace. Yes, with so much grace. But I'm grateful for my mom. Whenever I feel I am feeling some type of way, she's always a phone call away, and she would say to me, "You're my daughter. You can do this, no matter how hard it is." It's I take it each like a day. As it comes.
I'm so glad that you afforded me the opportunity to be the one to help you unpack and really share with the world. Because I remember way back, I think it was last year or this year, when I said that I'm thinking of starting a podcast, and you were like, whenever you're ready to do it, just call me. So what has led us to this moment? What has led Samukele Vilakazi to a moment of ploughing and redefining her identity and herself?
I would say it's the turmoil that I experienced the past couple of years of my life.
Yes.
Outside looking in, the next person would say I was living a great life. I had my kids, stepkids, my ex-husband. Everything was just great. But post leaving that, I had to obviously start ground up.
Yeah.
Finding my feet. And it required a lot from me. Things that I never even thought I would be able to experience on my own, I actually did.
Yes.
And I felt, I needed to share that there's life after experiencing the hardships, you just need to pick up yourself. You need to clean yourself up and plan. Say to yourself, I've got goals. I'm a queen. I might have failed in this aspect of my life, but it really does not define who I am. And one of the things that actually helped me wake up are my two boys.
Yes.
I wanted to create a generational wealth for them.
Yes, a legacy.
Yes, a legacy. And if there's anything I could have taken from my ex-husband was he was pro-generational wealth, and he felt whether you were male or female, he felt you always needed to cultivate that in you. And I felt if they could see it in their dad, why can't they see it in their mom too?
Yes.
It shouldn't be a situation of gender roles or or just because you're the head of the house, meaning the mom cannot tap into her purpose, her drive, her goals. So I think my life story, as young as I am, I think it could help the next upcoming generation in terms of your choices. Your choices catch up with you at some point in your life. When you are in your 20s, you tend to you make choices that you feel, are fun, YOLO, let me just do this. But at a later stage, and you look back and you think, with all the time that I wasted on certain individuals, on certain things that were not uplifting me, upskilling me, or creating a better me, was literally a waste of time. And I got to experience that your past does come back and haunt you. Even if you may run away from it, but your choices in your past will one day catch up on you, and it may just affect your livelihood now.
Yes, and the rest of your life
and
going
the rest
forward.
of your life going forward. Who you may hurt, the people that you hang around with, the things that you consume, they tend to create a certain type of you. And it's important to know how you want people to receive you and perceive you. And that goes by, you are who you hang around with too.
Exactly.
So I just felt I needed to share that.
Yeah.
It's not all sad. I mean, a certain part of it was extremely sad, and I can speak about it with no tears in my eyes. Because I had to obviously go through the healing process. I mean, it was horrendous. It was.
And that's really, to be honest, if you're comfortable, is to really share and unpack, because there are out there in the world, we go through so many different things. We go through things where you think, I'll never come back from this. I'll never be able to rise up. It's over. I can never either walk out of the situation or recover or heal. And there you are on the chair saying to that person, you can, because I did it. So when you say that it was sad, some of the stuff that you went through, if you can, please, can you share the things that you went through that made you look at your life with a different perspective and different eye and think, actually, this is not it.
I think it's giving yourself wholeheartedly to an individual and forgetting yourself. I felt, and I still feel so, that I'm a home builder. It's who I am. I'm a home builder. I'm called into this world to help. And I felt, at some point, I didn't understand the whole concept of home building. I felt I needed to be a present mom, a present wife, run the household, but not run myself, not focus on me. I felt I lost a huge part of myself. And don't get me wrong, I felt it was needed. People may feel post my divorce, they think it was all entirely bad. I mean, you don't get into a relationship and start a family for you to end up separating at some point. You strive to want longevity and stability. Not just for yourself but for your kids, so that they can have something that you never experienced growing up. A healthy upbringing with both mom and dad, and they get to see us resolve conflicts, and they get to see us smile, and they understand how they need to treat the next individual just by how we show one another. My ex-husband was a great man. He's a lot of the things that I know now I learned from him. He's a great father. It's just that we were just not meant for one another. And one needs to take the decision to say, nyakulula. You can go and find your soulmates.
Yes.
You know, it's hard in the beginning because you feel this is the person that's made for you.
Yeah.
Because there's a point in your life where that person just made you feel so giddy.
Yes.
You know,
they were your heaven on earth.
Yeah, heaven on earth. You know, it felt like you're walking on clouds.
Yes. Yeah.
And then obviously you then experience the downfalls.
Yeah.
You know, but you would experience them with so much grace to say, okay, I still choose commitment. I still choose this individual each and every day. So the sad part is obviously the separation part and to not have your kids see their mom and dad again the way they used to see it. But you know, shocking enough, as sad as it is in the beginning, kids do, they do adjust. And you know, and you then have to focus on self-healing on both ends.
Yes.
So that you, when you then come together, you're able to exercise a very healthy co-parenting
With
relationship.
respect
With
and
respect
functionality.
and boundaries.
Yes.
You know, healthy boundaries. And I think my kids now get to witness it, to say, you know, they don't hate each other. They're able to coexist. And, you know, they're able to rotate, you know, in a very healthy way. And you can, the dad can crack a joke, we can both laugh, you know. It's not entirely bad.
Yes.
So for me, the starting from scratch, meaning I had to start from scratch before I even left.
Yes.
You know,
Sorry, I just will get to that. I just want to go back and track back a bit to the part when you said that you realized that you had given yourself more to the next person, and additionally, you lost yourself.
yes.
At which point did you actually realize? When did the alarm bells go off that you've lost yourself, Samu? You've given yourself to the next person completely, and you've got nothing left for yourself, for you, by you, with you, to you.
Yeah.
When was that moment?
When I would look at myself in the mirror and I wouldn't recognize myself.
Because you were unhappy or sad?
No. Besides the internal, just the external. I was not who I've always wanted Samu to be. You know, I've always been a very flamboyant, you know, sassy, tall, you
model
know,
girl. Yeah.
Now I had transcended into Umama Wendlu, who now weighs 95 to almost 100 kilograms.
Sure.
You know, and I'm still, you know, you now have to experience hormonal things. Even now, I'm still trying to work on, which affects your confidence. I was not confident at all. And then I had to obviously now dig deep and say, what do I like now?
Yes.
I don't even know what are the things I like, what I enjoy to do, because I've always, my focal point has always been my household, my kids, and my man, you know? So those conversations that I had to have with myself were eye-opening. Yeah. To say, Samuel, this is not what you're brought into this world for. Yes, I understand that there's this aspect that excites you of running a household, but there's this other aspect that, you know, there's a huge void. And as a result, you end up resenting the next person. Yeah. Because you are not able to tap into those things. So that's why I felt I had completely lost myself.
I get that. And the realization that you've lost yourself, I imagine, is also a bit hard to accept, because you also start questioning yourself. How did I even allow myself to lose myself, right? And how did you then deal with those hard questions that you had to face? That, you know what, yes, in as much as this is a situation caused by two, but in that two, I played a role as part of that two. How did you find the courage to face yourself in the mirror to say accountability?
Yeah, accountability has always been a very important word when it came to redefining or, you know, creating a new me, you know. I understood, and I'm not here to say, oh, my ex-husband was a bad person.
Yes,
No.
yeah.
Those are choices that I also took, and I had to live up with them. That my life was stagnant, I never fueled anything in terms of that aspect. And those conversations were truly uncomfortable. I mean, I would cry. I would drop my kids off at school, drive back home crying.
Yes.
Lock myself in the garage, still crying.
Yes.
Because I felt I had failed myself. And if I failed myself, I'm failing everyone around me.
So was your thing more of like you felt that you allowed yourself to be in a comfort zone?
Yes.
And not really push or elevate or stretch yourself?
Yes.
I can imagine that's a hard conversation to have with oneself.
Yeah, I got into that place where I had to smack myself in the face to say, dude, how did you allow this to happen?
Yes.
I literally was my ex-husband's biggest supporter.
Yes.
In terms of work, I watched him grow, which was so beautiful. There were times where he did want that much growth for me. But I felt, would I be able to still exercise this role, this household role?
Yes.
How will I still be able to make sure that I come back home energetic, to make sure that my husband has a hot meal on top of the table? How do I juggle that? So those conversations were the toughest.
Yeah.
That was the toughest time of my life. Which was good at the same time because I managed to lose like 10 kilograms.
The stress. Yeah. A win is a win.
Yeah, I lost like 10 kilograms. Yeah. But, it built character.
Yeah.
It built character. My whole experience, the years that I've given to my ex.
Yes.
The experience, the exposure he gave to me.
Yeah.
If there's anything I took away from him was that you need to be a learned person. You need to upskill yourself. You need to read.
Yes.
You need to be a woman that's able to hold a conversation amongst your peers or any other person, Because I felt it, being in a relationship with a person of a certain caliber, you're then exposed to certain individuals. And if you can't hold a conversation...
People don't even remember your name, actually.
Yeah.
So, Samu, it sounds like you had a partner that really also wanted you to come out of your comfort zone and stretch. What was holding you back? Was it you prioritizing being the homemaker, or was it fear? Because looking back now, with the spirit and the attitude that you have, had he said those things, let's just say now, I'm sure, and this is me assuming, you would have had a different reaction or response. What was causing you to react in that way? Because if you're saying it with in your own words, that he exposed you to a lot of things, he wanted you to stretch, he wanted you to grow, but there was that thing that made you not do it. What was the cause of you not taking yourself there?
It's a different situation when you want to do something with your life instead of someone saying you should do this.
Okay.
I was not going to thrive in whatever he wanted me to do.
Yes.
I'm going to thrive in what I want to do.
Yes.
Because I'll start something and not finish it.
Okay.
Because it's something that you want me to do.
Yes. Yeah.
So I had to... I went to school, I studied, but even the thing what I studied is not something that I'm passionate about now.
Not right now,
you
yes.
know?
Yeah.
So I just felt I had to keep myself busy, just try educate myself. As a result, it got to a point where I even had to halt it because I was not even enjoying what I'm doing. I today understand the importance of loving
what you're
doing. Because if you love it, you will do it wholeheartedly and you will do it the right way.
Yes.
So I didn't feel I want to do something because he says I should do it.
Yes.
In terms of wanting to upskill myself, I saw the importance of it. Hence, I took the decision to do something, even if it's not something I had an interest in, But it took me being in that rabbit hole for me to look and seek deeper inside of me to say, what is it, Samu, that you truly, truly love? And what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to pursue?
Yes.
What makes you happy?
Yeah.
what will make you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Yes. And feel alive
and feel
like
alive
you have to
and be
chase
excited
this.
to conquer the day.
Yeah.
Not just because you're doing it for the next person to see that you are being productive with yourself or with your life.
Yes.
You know? So I think that was always also a point of argument in my household. You know? At a certain point, I felt it was negative, but I grew to understand that it came from a very good place. You know? A certain part of it is not entirely how it should be addressed, or, you know, allow someone to find their passion, allow someone to do what they want, even if you don't support it, or even if it's not something that's your forte, you know, or you feel your peers will say, oh, she's a model, or what have you, you know. So I'm not a corporate hun. I'm not a 9-to-5 type of chick. That's not what I'm built for.
Yeah.
You know, I'm supposed to create incomes for people. I'm supposed to feed households.
Yes, I love that.
That's who I am.
And we're gonna get to you being the Samu that you are now, the Samu that you're building. You were mentioning something, and then I wanted us to take a different direction, but now I'm back to it. You were like, you started from scratch even before you left your marriage. How does that work? How does one start from scratch whilst they are in the space or in the situation that they think that they want to move away from? Because so many times, even with a job, right, friendship, relationship, any situation that involves other people, we normally think, I have to leave first before I can redefine, redo, readjust. But here you are saying that you started from scratch even before you left.
Yes.
How did you work that out?
I saw my fate, and I saw where my relationship was headed.
Yes.
And I had to talk to myself to say, understanding your situation, that you're not entitled to anything here.
Yeah.
So meaning you need to, whatever that you have, you need to ensure that when you leave this place, you're able to survive. You know, because one thing I've always said to myself, I'm not going back home after I've left.
Yes.
You know, people feel it's okay to, and it's different strokes for different folks.
100%, yes.
People feel they can always go back home, which is great. I do have a home, you know, with a mom that's very supportive, but I felt going back home would create that stagnation again. You know, I wanted to have that stress month end.
Yes.
To pay
that
push. Rent, you know, and I wanted to create a situation where I'm extremely uncomfortable, because I know being uncomfortable will help you push whatever that you're trying to do. You know?
Yes.
I had to get a job.
From not having one.
Yeah, from not
for
having
years.
one for years. I had to get a job, and you know, luckily the job allowed me to exercise being around people, you know, engaging and, you know, meeting people that will help you elevate somehow. People that will able to unlock or open certain doors that you from the comfort of your home will be able to. So me leaving, I had to obviously sell a few things, get myself an apartment, silently, you know, quietly, and the next person would have thought probably I had met another man. But the truth of the matter is that you cannot, after I had given myself to a person for so long, you can't just jump into the next relationship.
Yes.
It's just a recipe for failure and disaster. So and luckily I had my best friend who was ready to drop everything.
Yes.
And be that supportive structure. We shared an apartment, and you know, we literally tried to, every day there was a new business idea, you know, understanding that to reach that goal that I want to reach, I need to start small.
Yes.
So those baby steps were tough, Thando.
I can imagine.
They were so tough. And you know, I don't take that experience for granted. I really, really don't.
I can imagine.
I don't. And as a result, I don't ever want to find myself in that situation again. That's why I'm extremely selfish.
Yes.
I'm extremely selfish. Gone are the days when I was a people pleaser and I put people before me.
Yes.
Now it's me, it's God, me, my kids.
Our kids.
That's it.
I love the fact that you had the courage to assess the situation, assess everything, and you were like, I'm not living with these things. This is not mine. Because we know that the narrative most times is you're going to want to fight.
Yes.
You know, you're in a marriage, things have been achieved, things have been accomplished, assets, whatever, you name it, furniture, experiences. And most times the narrative or the attitude is I'm going to stay and fight for what is mine, or I'm just going to stay because I'm not losing this. But you have the courage to say, I'm going to leave everything here.
Yeah, no. I did. I had so much courage. I don't know where I got it from.
Yes.
But I had it. I look back now and I pat myself on the back for taking that decision.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't have been able to unlock or tap into different layers of myself.
Of yourself, yes.
That I never thought existed. You know? I've always been the person, the one to always be quiet in the midst of arguments. Now I'm firm.
Yes.
I am firm in my beliefs, in my values, and my morals. I don't flinch at all.
I love that you don't flinch.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. And no one, if this is my stance, nobody can shake it.
Yes.
So that's why I go back to how it built character.
Yeah. So everything that you went through in that moment of realizing that I've given myself, I've laid myself on the ground for everyone to be a bridge, that moment, that realization is birthing the Samu that you are building right now. And this is testament to that. It doesn't always have to be a case where you have a solid identity from get-go. We build our identity as we go. And the things that we go through are really the catalyst that help shape that new identity. Because now you're doing a whole new Samu. I mean, even the hair is seeing Diana Ross. I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
Yeah.
And I love it for you. When you look at who you were and who you are building, and who you are becoming, what are the different? What's the contrast that's there, apart from the people pleasing that you've mentioned? Like when you look at that Samu and you're like, hey, but she was like this and like this and like that. And you compare with where you are headed. Where is the difference?
The difference, I still have conversations with the younger me. And sometimes I do shout at her.
Yes.
To say, why did you not protect yourself? Why did you allow yourself to be exposed to things that were not deserving of you?
Yes.
That would have helped you navigate a lot of situations differently.
Yes.
Because, the difference between now and then is my hunger to be independent. I've always, how growing up is.
Yeah.
Always wanting, he can do that for me.
Yes.
He can do that for me. There'll always be the next guy to do that for me.
Yeah.
So now I want the independence now. So that my next relationship, of which I'm in right now, I get into the relationship on my terms.
Yes.
There's no room for manipulation. There's no room for gaslighting.
Yes.
You're able to see the individual for who they are.
Yeah.
So there's no a facade of you just seeing the money, the flash, the bling, or, you then fall in love with the next person. So I think that the difference between now and then is my hunger to succeed, my hunger to... I don't ever want to call someone and say, oh, Angina.
Yes.
I want to be able to fend.
And they just
myself.
top up whatever it is that you have.
Yes. Yeah. But the basics. I'm able to swipe things that I love myself. Yes. Even if I ask you as the guy, doesn't mean I can't afford to do it. You know, I want to experience such a thing. But if I can't, if you're not there, that means I can't afford this. You know.
Yes.
So if I invite another man and I haven't gotten there, it's like I've taken so many steps back.
Yes.
I'm back to who I used to be.
Yeah.
You know. And it goes back to what I was saying in terms of the choices. Those choices create, I don't know how to put it, but they create a monster. They create a monster that always needs to be fed, you know?
Yes.
And I feel even the choice, sometimes I feel my marriage saved me. It saved me from a lot of nonsensical things. Probably I wouldn't be the woman that I am today.
Yes.
Probably I would have died or would have been sick.
Yes.
Or, you know, whatever the case may be. But it kept me. You know, it taught me the Lord. I got to see myself as a parent. I got to see myself as a wife. Now I need to see myself as a successful woman.
Yes.
You know, so I've tapped into all these different facets of me.
Yes.
Now there's this one that's longing to be fulfilled.
Yes.
That's giving me sleepless nights.
Yes.
You know, so I think that's the difference when I look back and I look at now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Samu then was looking for someone to take care of herself. And the Samu now is saying, I'm going to take care of myself. And whatever it is that you come with either tops up or you can just leave the room, actually.
Yeah, the Samu then was more gullible. The Samu then was more gullible, was more fixated on monetary things.
Yes.
More than the human being.
The human being.
Yeah.
And that's what you're cultivating now, the Samu inside, right? So I know that you are going into, or you actually are into farming, right? Please tell us about that, because I mean, identity, again, it really involves different facets of your being. It involves your look, it involves your spirituality, it involves your job, your career, your business, it involves the life that you live, right? So you move from a place of not even working for years. And then I know that you had another job in between, and then now you're literally diving into this farming thing. How does that work? How do you even make that choice? What led you to make that choice?
Yeah. You know, during the time when I was working, I had to obviously, even before I left, let me just say, before I left my marriage,
yes,
I had to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my cousin who had just graduated in agriculture. And, you know, we had one conversation.
Yes.
And that conversation went from one to each and every day. I'm asking her different questions regarding this thing.
Yes.
You know, I wanted to dig deep because this had something that I believe in, which is giving life.
Yes.
And I felt I needed to dig deeper into this thing.
Into the ground.
Into the ground, you know?
Yes.
And the moment I left and I started working and I saw how uncomfortable I was, I started having conversations with certain individuals. How do I acquire land? You know, it's white dominated.
Yes.
Male dominated.
Yes.
It would be a struggle for me, you know? And my cousin introduced me to a guy in the Eastern Cape. We acquired our land. And then obviously the biggest obstacle was the getting off your inputs, your irrigations, your seedlings, your water usage licenses.
Yes.
So that's where I am right now. I just got my water usage license.
Wow, congrats.
So now I'm ready.
Yes.
To prepare the soil.
And give life.
And give life.
And produce the jobs, like you said.
And produce
and make
the job.
income.
Yes.
Create income for other people.
Yes.
I love that, Samu. You know, one of the things that I believe and I think a lot of people struggle with is seeing themselves in the future, and I hope I'm going to say this right, between you having this rude awakening and the Samu that you are now, how long did it take? And not that time period matters, but I just want to share with our audience and drill it into our audience that things take time, right? Because you are better off being in the process than not starting the process at all, right? And sometimes when people think it's going to take me 5-10 years to pursue or become this thing, they'd rather give up.
Yes.
Because you're looking at the time period and you're thinking, it's going to take that long. I might as well not, you know. And how long did you transition from this woman who could not recognize herself in the mirror because of being overweight or not looking the way that you know you're supposed to realizing that you've given so much to the next person and you've done nothing for yourself, to literally then thinking, I'm going to start from scratch. Even though I'm still here in this marriage, I'm not fighting for anything, I'm not causing drama, I'm not doing none of that, I'm just starting from scratch. How long did that entire transition take you to where we are right now?
Sure. Okay, from the day I decided I want out, but I'm still in.
Yes. Physically.
Yeah, physically in. I think it was 6 months. I left this 6 months later.
Yeah.
And then I got a job 2 months later. I stayed in that job for 11 months.
Yes.
But while I was in that job, I had to obviously try find a way to acquire my land. And I obviously need to understand and engage with certain individuals on how the processes work. How it's quite capital intensive.
Yes.
How will I still, post leaving this job, how will I be able to maintain my lifestyle?
Yes.
Meaning I have to start a small business. That small business will be able to run my household, pay my bills.
Yes.
And then I started a clothing line.
Yes.
Then I'd make small items of clothing and people would order, and that would be enough for me to be able to go on month to month.
Yes.
While I'm busy with the process. The unfortunate part is that it's a very tedious process.
Yes.
For startups in farming, there's no institution that wants to support you at primary stage.
Yes.
They prefer coming in at a certain secondary stage because of the risks that come with it. So I had to obviously pull myself towards myself to say, you're going to have to walk through the corridors of different departments. I don't know if I can even say this word. You're going to have to lick some.
Yes.
So that you can, because it's the reality of our country.
Of certain spaces.
In order for your demands to be taken with utmost priority, you need to be aggressive in your approach. It's unfortunate when they look at us, they see a pretty girl who wants to get into farming. They just see the flesh and they don't see this hungry woman that wants to get into this line of business.
The purpose as well.
Yes. So I now have to find ways to find male representatives, which is so sad because I cannot sit in a boardroom or a meeting with a group of male and at the end of the meeting, they actually understood everything that I've uttered.
Yeah.
Chances are they didn't even hear a word I said, you know. But the moment you leave, it's good to exchange numbers. The next thing, let's go out for dinner.
Yes.
The next thing, they've even forgotten
the reason why. Yes. Yeah.
So it's the process is sometimes you feel like giving up, but you then reminded. I know it's a bad thing to say, but I owe myself that much. And I know it's not a good thing to say you want to prove someone, right, that, you know, I can do something that I want to do.
Yes.
And actually get it right.
Yes.
You know, without being what the society requires you to be or the 9-to-5 type of chick that attends board meetings and, drives an X5. I'm ready to be in my shorts and my boots and my bucky and, be
in the dirt, in the mud, in the rain. I'm love
ready
that.
to watch my seedlings grow. I'm ready to be there with my pesticides. I'm ready to be there in the heat.
I love that.
So the end goal is what keeps me going.
Yes.
The end goal, because if I was to one day share what I want the end goal to be, you'll understand why it gives me sleepless nights.
Exactly.
Because it's not going to just benefit me.
And that's really part of having a dream, right? When you have a dream, it keeps you up at night because you want to get to it. You want to be there, And one thing that I really love about your story is that you, from me looking in on the outside, I feel that you also learned so much about yourself. Things that were not there. I mean, things that you do not know were there. Things that were there, but you did not know were there. Because there's so much of us that we don't even know. Because I always feel that the one person that truly knows us is God.
Yes.
But for us, we only learn what we can do and what we are capable of as we actually do it. And the things that you've just realized, Samu Vilakazi, you can do this?
Yes.
Yeah?
It's my resilience.
Yeah?
Like, it's my resilience. I can hold on to something. I can, until I get it right.
Yes.
I will persevere.
Pitbull energy. I call it pitbull energy. You hold on until
everything
it goes the way it's supposed to.
Until it goes the way, because you'll be tested.
Yes.
You'll be tested and you'll find a person that's ready and willing to take your baggage and away from you. But there's this thing, man.
Yeah.
I need to get it right.
Exactly.
I need to get it right. If it's not for me, I'm for the girls.
Yes.
For the team.
Yes.
I'm doing it for the team.
Yeah.
So that the next person can see that it's possible.
It's possible.
Yes, it's possible.
I love that. And your story has got such a quiet power because obviously you're soft-spoken, right? But it comes through in how you've had to fight for yourself and you've had to redefine yourself. And you did not allow, because when we go through a realization, I've realized that through a realization, you can stay in the pit or you can fight to rise up, right? And when you are a type of person that fights to rise up, you tend to think that everyone can rise up. But then if everyone can rise up, you realize that if that was the case, we would not have things like suicide, would not have things like depression. Not that there's anything wrong, but people are not blessed or given the same strength or even embrace strength in the moment of realization. Because like I'm saying, you could have had the realization that you haven't pushed or elevated yourself to enough heights, and you would have decided, you know what, it is what it is. Actually, now I'll drink. Let me be an alcoholic so that I can numb the pain, Or let me just find some very negative habit so I can numb the pain. So I love that you had a realization, and through your quiet power, you were like, you know what, I'm going to redefine this whole thing. And that's what life is about. It's about redefining. When you find yourself in a place that is no longer conducive, no longer healthy, when you look at yourself and you don't like what you see, in that moment, you can just make a decision and redefine. And that's what you did.
I did. For me, it would have been easier for me to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, yes. Because you were comfortable.
Yeah, it would have been easier, but I'd be shooting myself in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been kind to myself. And it takes one experience, I got to experience, it felt like an out-of-body experience where I had so much rage.
Yes.
I didn't know I had that in me, And I felt to myself, I don't ever want to see myself or experience myself in that way.
Like that, in that version
in that
of
version
myself,
of
yes.
myself. That's not who I am. you know, and for the next person to be able to tap into that dormant place in you, that person is not deserving of you, you know. That place is supposed to stay sleeping.
Yes.
You know, and you fight it and you fight it. It must stay as dormant as it can.
Yes.
But for the next person to get it and awake it, then you know that you're not meant to be here.
And I also get the sense that, Samu, you did a lot of healing because, you know, my intuition is always ripe. I know that you went through a lot, especially in your marriage. And I know not because you told me or anything, because of how you express yourself. The way you express yourself is truly in line with how you've healed. And that's why you can even speak of your previous marriage with respect and something that you look at as a medium or a catalyst that help you to rise to the top. Healing is important, right?
It is. It is. And you know, and that's why I came on this platform.
Yes.
And not here to badmouth my ex.
Yes, it's not about them, it's about you.
It's not about him, you know. I shared a precious time with him. But honestly, this is all about me. And I respect him. I respect what we had.
Yes.
I respect our kids.
Yes.
And even now, I still say kids because I had stepkids with him.
Yes.
Which I still look at as my kids.
Yeah.
You know? So it doesn't happen overnight. It happens post-healing.
Process, yes.
So it's a process.
Yeah.
There were times where, I would say, oh, I fucking hate it, you know?
Yes.
But I had to go through the healing. And not for him. And I think also not for myself. But for those little human beings that need to be better individuals when they grow up. And I've got such sweet boys.
Yeah.
My boys took a lot of me.
Yeah.
Quite affectionate, loving.
Yes.
You know, even when I want to do something that is off.
Yeah.
They are like my wake-up call.
They're the ones, yeah.
Dude, you've got people looking up
to you.
So you cannot take that decision.
I love that.
So, yeah, I'm not where I should be, but I'm walking.
You're going there.
I'm on the right path.
Yes.
I'm on the right path.
And I love
So
to
I
see
also
it.
felt I needed to heal because you find a lot of relationships that are toxic because people don't go through the healing. You know, now I'm able to be in the relationship that I'm in right now, a healthy relationship.
Yes.
A relationship where my man communicates and I communicate in a healthy way.
Yes.
You know, because I am not quick to respond in a very harsh manner.
Yeah.
Or I'm not quick to be insecure based on my past experiences.
Yes.
You
didn't carry that
into
this.
No.
You redid everything.
I redid everything, you know.
I love that,
so,
yes.
Yeah, I needed to.
Before we wrap up, I want you to share the beauty aspect of your life because this is Bumovation, you know. What does Samu do to keep Samu being Samu? What does Samu do to keep Samu alive, to keep Samu glowing, to keep Samu vibrant? Because at the end of the day, you know, especially being a woman, image does play a role in how the world perceives us, how the world receives us. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you do to just keep your spunk and your pizzazz there alive and well?
You know, I'm also on a process. It's a process.
Yeah.
Being comfortable in my skin. As I said earlier, that, you know, we go through a lot of hormonal things. I remember I was on the UID. It messed me up. My skin, my everything, and I'm still trying to recover. My skin, it affects my confidence a lot, you know. You want to be able to leave the house without patching certain areas. You know? So I think it comes with just being comfortable in your skin and just not looking at the next person.
Yes.
You know? And unfortunately for me, I think I've got great genes in terms of...
You do?
Yeah, in
You
terms
do.
of my height.
Yes.
So people can think, oh, she's quite skinny, but that thing says I'm 190.
Yeah.
You know? But I feel it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's within. It's
Yeah.
something that it's internal. So if you feel it inside, you'll show it.
Yeah.
So if you feel good about yourself, with your imperfections,
Mm-hmm.
and you are self-aware of your imperfections and try work at bettering them.
Yes.
And then, you know, yeah, I also think just don't be hard on yourself.
Yes, compassion and grace for yourself.
Yes, just have a lot of grace. And getting the body of your dreams does not take a night or a day.
Yeah.
It takes consistency.
Yes.
You know, choosing yourself first every single day, because you want to be banging.
And feel
and I
confident.
still look at you and I'm like, yo, I wish I had half of what you have.
It's also sometimes a bit of a problem, you know, a baggage when you have got all these things. But
It's appealing. It's appealing.
You gotta keep working at it.
Yeah.
Samu, thank you so much. We just have something, you know, small, demure, mindful, you know, to give to you as a token of appreciation for being part of Bumovation. We have our Everse Beauty Guasha Stone Rose Quartz.
This is going to help my skin so much.
It certainly will. And we've got the moringa oil in there as well. It's home crafted. So the moringa oil is for you to be able to glide that guasha smoothly, nicely, because it needs to be smooth, you know. It has
that's
to be.
what you do.
Yes, that's what I do all the time. So I want my guests to also experience all the niceness of that rose quartz guasha stone. And rose quartz is such a brilliant stone because it really invokes self-love, healing. It's a beautiful stone. And I'm really proud of you and, you know, sharing your journey, because I always say that one person's story can elevate someone in the world. You know, there's 9 billion of us. And in that 9 billion, not everyone wants to run a corporation that has 30 floors. Not everyone wants to live in a 9-bedroom home. Some people just want healing. Some people just want to redefine themselves. Some people want to know who they are. And it's really the reason behind the series, The Power of Identity, to say, our Samu, I did not recognize myself. I was not satisfied with where I was going. I realized that I did not show up for me, but I'm redefining everything, acquiring a new identity, wearing new energy. So to wrap up, I just want you to tell anyone, somebody who's at home, in your own words, that if you can do it, so they can.
You know what I would say to the next? It's unfortunate that us as females don't support one another.
Yeah, well, we try.
I think majority, I mean, you can pinpoint.
Yeah.
You know, out of 5, it's probably 2. The rest are literally waiting for your downfall.
Yes.
You know, I just wish people could stop looking at the next. Whether you're doing great or bad, people will always have something to say.
For sure.
So I just pray and hope that people learn to shut the noise.
Yes.
The noise will always be there. Just shut it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it does not matter. It does not pay your bills. It does not, you know, really does not define who you are.
Yes.
You know, so it shouldn't even bother you. So, yeah, I think that's the most important thing, and that's the reason why people fear taking difficult decisions, because they fear what will the next person say.
What are people going to say?
Yeah, you know, and you'll never know until you've done it. And
And you're doing it.
And I'm doing it. And I'm doing it. And I'm not saying
of you.
It's not easy, but I'm doing it.
Yes.
I'm loving it.
Nothing worth having is easy.
Yes.
Nothing. I mean, we are in these lights, under these lights burning, because we want, you know, to get the message out there.
Yeah.
This has been another calming, amazing Bumovation episode. And one thing that I'm taking away for myself is that, you know, power comes in different forms and different types.
Yeah.
Here is Samu here. I love the fact that you're so calm, you know, like you exude quiet power, which is such a thing, because sometimes standing up for yourself means being loud and abrasive and aggressive. Be yourself, but step into your power. And there is no time limit, no age limit for you to redefine yourself. Yes, things have happened, whether it is abuse, whether it is, you know, a bad upbringing, whether it is a terrible experience in high school, a terrible experience in tertiary university, it has happened. We know that, we acknowledge it, and yes, we want to heal from it, but ultimately we want to make sure we assume the right identity. I'm Noluthando Chabalala. This is Beaumovation, where beauty meets motivation. Subscribe, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister, tell your cousin, even tell your ex to subscribe so they can be a better person. Thank you so much for watching.
Ciao.